Hello and welcome everyone to the Wednesday, July 5th edition of the Biweekly SIG ContribEx meeting. I'm your host, Keslin Fields. And as a reminder, we do operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow attendees and speakers and generally be excellent to each other. To start things off today, we usually like to set aside a little bit of time for anyone who's new to the call to say hello and introduce themselves. If you would like to, we'd love to hear a little bit about who you are and why you're here with us today. Totally optional, but I will open that up to folks now. I see a hand. Joe.
Hi everyone, I'm Jyoti Bisht, but I go by my nickname Joe, which is very easy to pronounce for everyone. And I have been working in open source space for about 2.5 years now. I graduated from university with a bachelor's in technology just last year. And before that as well, my whole career has been built around open source. And I'm currently working at Appright. I think you might have heard of it, I'm not sure. So Appright is also an open source company. And I'm working with a team of 33 individuals right now. And last year I attended KubeCon in Spain, which was my introduction to Kubernetes. And I met so many amazing people from different backgrounds. And I'm just like, at that time, I was very intimidated by Kubernetes because it had a lot of information thrown at me all at once. But once I started reading about it, I got more interested. And now I finally decided to, choose an SIG and just start contributing to it. And I thought, since my background has been in developer relations and community management, a lot of that. So I thought this ContribEx SIG is the perfect for me to get started with. And Nikita's talk was actually my guiding star, I would say. Her talk for, I think it was on YouTube, which I saw. And that is how I started. And I hope to only climb the contributor ladder from here on. And thank you for the very warm welcome.
Welcome. We're excited to have you here. And I think you're right. This hopefully will be a good fit for you. Is there anyone else who's new to the call who would like to say hello?
We should also have some regulars introduce themselves so the newcomers actually know who's here.
We can do that. First up, hand. Nishad?
Yeah, hi. That's
Did I get it?
Yeah, pronounced it perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm still figuring out the right nickname for that. That's a bit easier to pronounce, but good to know that you got it in the first try. So yeah, hi guys. I'm Nishad. Until 2 weeks back, I was working at VMware, and I've taken a break because I'll be joining University of Southern California in August. So I'm joining their Masters in Computer Science program in 23. So yeah, so I have a bit of time. So I tried to get into open source during my undergraduate, but it was a bit too intimidating. Like I wasn't used to projects of this scope. So like now, luckily, I've had some good experience with working on larger projects. So I think I'm going to be a bit more comfortable working on it now. So yeah, I'm just trying to dip my hands into Kubernetes and hopefully make some meaningful contribution.
Welcome. Sounds like you've got all sorts of things going on. It's exciting to have new folks. Yeah. Shall we go around and do regulars then? Unless any other new folks want to hop in, you're welcome to hop in the middle of everything too. I'll start. I'm Keslin. I'm a developer advocate at Google Cloud and a very new co-chair of SIG ContribEx. So I'm still learning. Our soon to be emeritus co-chairs, if you're not already emeritus, I don't know what your official status is, are also on here, Bob and Josh. This meeting is kind of a general collective sync across the SIG. I'm also a co-lead of one of our sub-projects, Contributor Comms, which the other co-lead is here. So you'll hear updates from our various sub-projects and learn a little bit about what's going on within the special interest group. Who would like to go next?
I can go. Hi, I'm Chris Short. I'm also a developer advocate / product marketing person at AWS on the Kubernetes team here. I'm, as Keslin said, co-lead of the sub-project for contributor comms, and very happy to have you all here. Bob, you want to go next?
Sure. Hey, it's Bob Killen. I am known as Mr. Bobby Tables across all the things. I am one of the co-chairs that will hopefully be stepping down soon. I am a program manager at Google, have been involved in the project for like seriously since 2017, but like going way back to even like 2014 in the way early days. I'm also a member of the Kubernetes Steering Committee. And I will pass the baton to Madhav.
Hi, sorry, I don't have my headphones here, but I'm Madhav. I'm from India. I'm an engineer at VMware. I'm one of the technical leads of contributor experience and also one of the GitHub admins for the Kubernetes project. I help out with few other different things here and there, but that's pretty much it. You can always reach out to me if you need help with anything. It's great to have new folks here and welcome. Priyanka, do you want to go next?
Josh, you suggested it. I think you're next.
Well, you already introduced me though.
That was sufficient introduction.
Right, outgoing chair, numerous seats in other places. Currently taking notes. Also head of the election sub-project, which I'm going to talk about later. Ray?
Hello, my name is Ray. I work for SUSE. I'm a field engineer, work with Kubernetes on a daily basis. I'm also the co-chair for Kubernetes SIG docs. I'm also a sub-project lead under SIG security as well. All right, Nigel.
Hey folks, I'm Nigel. I am a developer advocate at Intuit and heavily involved in ContribEx for moderation of the channels, YouTube, and soon, and recently Slack, and also going to be the lead, one of the leads for the contributor summit for KubeCon NA. Sean.
Hey everyone, I'm Sean McGinnis. I work at AWS on the BioRocket project. Been kind of popping in and out here every once in a while, hoping to have time to get a little bit more involved. And I wasn't watching, so I'm not sure who needs to go next. So
I can go next. Yeah. Hey everyone, I am Priyanka. I work at SUSE in the Linux engineering department as a Kubernetes integration engineer. I'm also one of the techniques for SIG ContribEx recently elected. In the past, I have been in SIG reviews in multiple roles over multiple review cycles. Yeah. I'm not sure if anyone is left.
Sujay, I don't think you've gone if you want to say hello.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, hi everyone. I'm Sujay from India. Still a BTech student, yet to graduate in just a few days. Actually, I just started a few months ago from ContribEx Comms and started working with different staff in KubeCon and all. I'm currently working on trying to fix the Slack bot, broken Slack bot. Yeah, that's about it.
Good luck. We can talk about that some later. And I think one other person joined. We're doing introductions if you'd like to, totally optional. I'll give you a chance to do that now if you would like to.
Hey, hello, I'm Rohan. I'm currently new to the community. I texted the other day on Slack channel and I would like to be involved with contributor experience moving forward.
Welcome. We have a pretty big meeting today.
I'm just so sorry that I couldn't connect by video because I mismanaged the time. I thought it was
Oh,
1
no
hour.
worries. No worries. It
I won't do
happens.
this mistake next time. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're excited to have everyone here. And we are already 17 minutes in. I know that Josh needed to drop a little bit early and he wanted to talk about some very important stuff with regard to the Kubernetes Steering Committee election, which is coming up. So Josh, would you like to start the discussion?
Yeah, howdy. We're getting organized for the steering committee election, since the election cycle should start, honestly, at the end of the month. But there's actually 2 steps to that. One is we actually have an election sub-project that's been largely inactive this year, mostly because I had to step up to work on other things, and haven't been able to really pursue building up activities around that. And as a result, most of the people who volunteered to help with the election sub-project last year are people who are not currently active in Kubernetes for a variety of reasons. So I'm looking to restaff the sub-project, because even if you're not otherwise doing anything, we do need a small committee to recommend election officers for the steering committee to approve. And it needs to be not just me. So if anybody's interested in that, please speak up on the SIG ContribEx elections channel. I've had a few people speak up, and we will have the other ContribEx leads approve that list of people soon, so those people can approve the EOs. The good news is that we have volunteers for election officers, which is a better position than we were in last year. As a matter of fact, we have too many volunteers, which is a much better choice than needing to find people, which is usually the situation we're in. The other thing is I'm about 3/4 of the way done with the election officer manual first draft. And so I'll finish that this week and it'll be going to current last year's and older election officers for editing.
Josh, can you speak to level of effort?
Well, it depends on which role, right? So for election sub-project, the requirement right now is over the next 2 weeks, helping discuss and pick who the election officers are. In the long term, I'd like to actually, the idea of having a sub-project is to do sort of continuous improvement on the election tools and process. We also set up the infrastructure that allows us to provide election software to any SIGs or other teams that want to have an election, but we haven't done much to advertise that. So an hour or 2 of discussion over the next 2 weeks, plus some indefinite but not high commitment of time over the next year for sub-project. For election officer, starting in about 2 weeks, it's a bunch of effort. Depending on which specific role you take, it ends up being, I don't know. Caslin, how much time would you say you spent last time?
Not enough.
Yeah. It's a bunch of hours, but then in barring some sort of weirdness with the election, having to have a special election, et cetera, it's over by September. So so those are your sort of choices.
I probably should have spent like an hour a week at least.
Yeah.
More on specific weeks.
Yeah. If you pop into the channel, there's links on more specific information.
Thank you.
Useful question. Thank you, Chris, for asking.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's it for elections.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to go over all of that. Sounds like maybe there's some comms that we could do to like spread awareness of the election tools that we've created, just so that people know about them. Maybe we could catch some folks from other projects through our media platforms.
Yeah, I just want to do it as a campaign. I don't want to actually, because because we've got the election stuff running on K8S Infra, I don't necessarily want to do it to other projects. Other CNCF projects is waiting on the CNCF to decide that they want to host Electo, which they're planning on. They've just had a bunch of staff turnover. So but I know that we have SIGs that have elections, for example, for chair. And if they knew about it, I'm pretty sure they would prefer to use Electo to sieves. I mean, I'm pretty sure people would prefer to use paper lots to sieves, honestly. So, yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Any other questions about elections? Or move on? Sounds good. If you do want to know anything else about elections or follow along with how this round of the election process goes, you can join SIG ContribEx elections. The spelling of all of that is in the chat, which is a Slack channel for all of this. All right. Anyone else need to go early that wants to get their part done first, or shall we go through the regular agenda? I think we can go on ahead then. Just let me know if you need to pop in with anything. All right, starting off with events. Nigel, Contributor Summit.
Hello. So there's been a lot of activity in the issue for Contributor Summit, where we're looking for folks to lead, shadow, and volunteer. Those roles are now broken up and hopefully clearly defined. We have a lot of folks, I'm just dropping the issue here in the chat. We have a lot of folks who are interested in volunteering in shadow, but haven't really identified areas. So we need to firm up some leads and then go from there. So we still need a lead for the social event and potentially a lead for the SIG meet and greet, because Laura's happy to do it, but was hoping that perhaps someone else might want to lead and learn to lead. So that's the main thing. And then for the leads, yeah, hopefully getting them to pick their volunteers and shadow soon, because that's how we are organizing it this time, is that the leads will be the people who will pick from the folks who have said, I want to be a shadow or I want to be a volunteer. Beyond that, we should probably start having some meetings soon. So I threw out a few times there. I don't know if they have like any sort of major conflicts with long-standing upstream meetings. So I was looking at Mondays at 9 a.m. or noon Pacific, or Tuesdays at 10 or noon Pacific. Any thoughts? Objections?
I'd argue against noon just because it's very late if any Europeans want to join.
Yeah, understood.
Did we have any, like, did we look at the volunteer thread? The main thing is just making sure the time works for the leads.
Yeah. So should I put should I put a thread in the leads channel or in the summit leads channel, or I guess I put something in the threads?
Yeah, I drop a message in like the summit staff channel, or like, just group DM with the leads to try to like, hey, what of these times what works best for y'all?
Yeah, that's a great move. I will do that. And is there anyone on the call, no pressure, that would like to lead the social event and or the meet and greet, the SIG meet and greet?
If I'm not doing comms, which we're supporting someone else from our group, hoping that Avinash will take over. Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's
Avinash paying me
based in
this
India,
weekend
by the
for
way.
docs. So yeah.
Nice.
Can I,
So,
like,
yeah.
where do I volunteer to shadow Laura?
Yeah, in
In
the
that
thread.
thread? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'd be
Laura
interested in
was
SIG meet
looking
and
for
greet.
another lead for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but she's probably gonna end up leading it realistically.
Okay.
Yeah, like I would shadow her this time and then hand off lead
Okay.
for next time kind of thing is my idea. So
Sounds good.
it's separate from the actual summit still?
Yes.
Like it's on Thursday? Okay, cool. Or Wednesday, whenever it was.
Friday, now Thursday.
Right. Cool.
Okay.
Do you have someone for awards, by the way?
Oh, do I?
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, you got
Because
to do that in NA.
Yeah, that's the big one that has to happen
Awards. Yes, I
soon-ish.
do have someone for awards.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I have someone for awards. And then, I thought I made the change to the comms and I did not. So, Kazan, I will remove you from the comms and put you down for social. Is that what we decided? Or what were you
I'd
raising?
rather not do social. SIG meet and greet was also what
SIG
I
meet.
was going for
Okay.
there.
Sorry, to shadow or lead?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to shadow. I think Keslin wants to shadow as well. That way there could be co-leads.
I've never done it before, but I have been to them, so I could probably kind of figure it out if
I accidentally got involved with it on the ground in Seattle and I loved it. So I don't mind doing that, I think.
if Laura wants to call me a lead, but then just tell me what to do anyway, I'm fine with that.
I will.
Which is probably what we'll kind of be doing with Avinash.
So maybe I could shadow Keslin.
Okay. I will talk to Laura about all that stuff. And so
I mean, we can
Yeah.
talk to Laura. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
we
not-
can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And
I'll
then
start a thread.
we'll start having that meeting and try to find a lead for the social event. Understood. Cool. I think that's all I have for this block. Action items is that I will message the leads on Slack. And yeah, figure out a time to start this meeting, perhaps next week. And then that meeting would be under SIG ContribEx, Bob. I can just okay, great.
Any
Cool.
of the ContribEx leads should be able to create it.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention that since the addition of volunteers as a role and concept is kind of new, a lot of the folks who are offering to be shadows but not calling out anything specific that they would shadow probably actually would be good with being volunteers. They just don't know the terminology yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. We only just put that in there, like, and so there haven't been very many people that raised their hand to shadow since the message went up. I think there've been a couple, but yeah, very, very happy to make that clear. Like once we start the meetings, and get the lineup more solidified. Great, awesome.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
Actually, quick thing before I forget. Also, your thing on coordinating time, make sure it works for Brianne and Deb.
Yeah.
Good point.
Because if they can't be there,
You're
then-
kind of screwed.
All right, I will also add them to that the thread, the DM that I will start soon.
Sorry, I did just popped in my head as like, oh shit, need to.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good call.
Okay, Josh is dropping. I can try to take over notes. I have not done it
I've
before.
kind of been taking notes myself as we go along too, so but I would appreciate that. Cool. All right. So any other questions on the contributor summit for KubeCon North America before we move on to mentoring? Sounds good. I know there was one person in our group who wanted to help out with the contributor summit if they could. I should let them know that all that's going on if I haven't yet. Note for self. So moving on. Mentoring. Any updates there? We've already lost Josh, so probably not. And even if we hadn't, probably not.
Can I comment on one thing with the customized mentoring cohort.
Customized mentoring cohort.
Yep, they got far too many applicants. The big issue is that the majority of people that applied aren't community org members and have no coding experience. So it's going to take a bit just to filter down the list to get people that are, really reasonable to bring into the cohort. This is explicitly to grow maintainers for the customized project.
All right. I promise I will take fewer notes now. It helps me remember things to write them as we go along. Anyway, is there anyone here from the contributor comm sub project? Never gonna get tired of the joke.
No, there's usually somebody here, I think. I don't know where they
there's
are
a
right now.
question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat about the contributor summit, actually. Are beginners eligible to volunteer? Are there any virtual volunteering opportunities? Who wants to take that?
So there's definitely a strong preference for folks who are going to be attending the contributor summit. There will be things that will come up for folks who are attending remotely. So if you're interested, definitely just comment on the issue and we'll go from there. Primarily, we're looking for folks who are members of the Kubernetes organization and who are going to be at the contributor summit.
I know as a past comms lead, we usually have a variety of tasks leading up to the event that could be handled by virtual volunteers. So let us know on the issue that you're virtual and want to volunteer. We'll do our best.
I could have done comms a lot better for EU, I feel like.
Doesn't it always feel that way?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mada, for adding the link to the issue for anyone who wants to volunteer. Please put your interest there. So back to contributor comms.
Okay. So let's see. We had a meeting last week. Was gonna check in with Nigel in this meeting to see if like the machine that is Zapier is still churning along as it should. And should we flip the switch? Or have we flipped the switch, I guess?
Yeah, the switch has been flipped for a while.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure it's all working. We can put that one to bed now.
Yeah, right? For the YouTube Zoom stuff, it has been flipped. I haven't done anything with any of the comms related things. If there's something that
like we'll take care of that in separate issues.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Like the migration was the first part.
Yeah. We're good as far as I know.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, if anybody wants to listen to virtual comms volunteering, we discussed that briefly in the meeting. The recording should be on YouTube, hopefully. And yeah, we have a SIG spotlight for SIG CLI that's getting reviewed or is in review progress kind of thing. And I think that's it. We talked about contribution already.
I did a couple of other things.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to put in a reminder that we're thinking about running Twitter Spaces. We're still figuring out exactly what our schedule will be, planning to align them with SIG Spotlight blog posts, which is a regular project within our group. Folks seem interested in it, so we'll work on figuring that out. If you see any warning lights that say that we shouldn't do that, just let us know.
Considering it's now, you have to.
That's a good point.
Have
nobody can just join; they have to be logged in to join.
And it goes against your daily limit of things.
Twitter just keeps making this idea worse.
So
all right, noted.
What I'm hearing is live streaming. Okay, great. Nope, not doing that.
Yeah. We did talk about Reddit has like a thing, but also Reddit has its own issues right now. Social media world is
it's a dumpster fire, right? Like I would rather host
right now
a video. I don't know how to do this right exactly, to be honest with you. Like, what is the ubiquitous voice only platform kind of thing? There isn't one. It's called podcasts.
One of our folks did mention an interest in running a podcast, but he also hasn't attended another meeting since then. So
I mean, I can do a podcast. That's not like the logistics of doing a podcast. I can help anybody with, but
the smoothness with which you said that just roiled something in my stomach. But
one thing,
the hardest part of a podcast is content, consistency, and content. So
I do not.
I think the big issue, honestly, for us there, outside content, is we probably wouldn't get many listeners.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just going by our old, like even our old like community meetings and all the recordings on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it would get a lot of people just because the visibility it wouldn't be that great, and the specific audience for these specific things is small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense as a Twitter space, but not really as anything else.
Who runs the Kubernetes subreddit? Might be like they have a live voice thing, and okay, cool. We can maybe reach out to him, Caslin, and just do it there. I don't know. There's a lot of people there. I know that.
Maybe it's worth looking into if we want to pursue this. Thank you. Useful discussion here.
Yeah, appreciate it, Bob.
The Reddit is a completely unofficial Kubernetes community. That is one thing I will
100%. Yeah. Okay. Good point.
As I feel like it should be. All right. So we'll move on from that. Sujay mentioned that he's attempting to work on the Slack bot. I gave him as much information as I could about the Slack bot, which was rather a pathetic amount.
Basically, that thread in SIG Infra, SIG Kate's Infra, where, damn it, who was it? Somebody laid out.
It was Ben.
It's what? Yeah, there you go. It was Ben. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. If you're aware of that thread, then that's as much as we know.
Are you disappointed in us?
I mean, I feel like I used to manipulate this thing more often, I feel like, but I think things have changed since then. So I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure out how this works.
Aren't we all?
It's well documented, according to Ben.
We have doubts.
Better documented than most things.
Most things in the project, yes.
That's a low bar. That I would believe. There is a KubeCon, an old KubeCon talk where we talk about it. So that is by definition better documented than a lot of things. Not that that tells you much either. We can find that for you, Sujay, but it won't help you very much. It might be a little helpful for you to get a sense for like how it was supposed to work. That's pretty much all it explains, is like how you're supposed to be able to use it, which doesn't work. You should probably find that. All right. So nobody else knows things about Slackbot, right? Just figure out what Ben knows.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for that link, Bob.
Everything is in there. Oh, I haven't. Oh, I have not started this. Interesting. Or bookmarked it. Or anything
I didn't know it was in that one. I thought,
Hmm.
I know that like we had some stuff going on with it, and then there's also the Slack moderation subproject, which has a hand in it, and then apparently infra. So there's a lot of folks who
A lot of cooks in the kitchen.
I can give you the quick rundown.
Okay.
We are the owners of the code, ContribEx.
Okay, cool.
Kate's Infra hosts the infrastructure. They host the instance of our stuff.
Makes sense.
The moderators, at least of the moderation tooling, are the ones that, basically answer requests. They're like, someone reports something that comes in and they handle that. They do not own the infrastructure or the code bits of it. They just own the actual things get reported and how they deal with that.
there's some help for you, Sujay.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
Sujay, you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as Catherine was mentioning, like, is there any possibility that it is not working because Slackbot is not a member of a group where you want to post something?
That could be very well the thing. If you
I
found a
remember when I
permissions
looked
issue.
into it before, that was what I decided was probably the issue, was that there was some issue with it and Josh fixed it. And then I think it wasn't added to any of the channels anymore. And so we need to add it to all of the channels, every channel in Slack. So we
And
were like,
this-
there should be automation for this. And then we never found automation for that.
And this adding the Slackbot can only be done only by a few folks, right?
No, if you go into any channel, and you should be able to invite the bot directly without having to be an admin.
Yeah,
we
you
just need
can-
to know the name of it in Slack, which is probably in the
basically,
docs.
It's a
Okay.
slash command. Hang on, I got it.
You can even like, there's a that little dialog box for it too. But
Yeah,
I just have to be a
the-
member of basically the SIG channels, chairs and TL.
So you
and
could go
previous
through and do it
contributors.
manually. It's not that bad, really. You just got to go through like 30 some 40 odd channels and add it. Click, click, click.
Yeah, it's painful but necessary, sadly. I would, yeah. I mean, if you could find a tool that does it, great. I wouldn't like weigh the cost of doing it manually versus
No.
trying to get a tool to do it.
Yeah, 40 channels, like probably will take you less time than having to find a tool or write something.
Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Which we probably should have done earlier. Is it /bot? I thought it had
Yeah.
a different name.
It's called post message, but you know, you can
Okay.
also say Slack bot and it picks up on that. It picks up on bot. It picks up on post. So there's a few things that like can get you.
I would think that would go to the built-in Slack bot, like the one that like removes you from channels and stuff. Is it just part of that? Or is it separate?
I think it matches on the like description.
Hmm.
I think that's a whole different thing if you're an admin. I'm not.
I thought so, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, like
This
if I
is
was an
helpful
admin, that'd be
progress.
something completely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's called post message, like the actual like Slack tool.
Cool. We've got 15 minutes left. Probably move on from this. We can come back to it if we have time at the end.
Mhm.
Thank you everyone for your help. Much appreciated in trying to sort out what on earth is going on with the Slack bot. So I mentioned earlier that we have that election tooling. We might want to do comms about it. Sounds like we wouldn't want to do that right now. Maybe someday. Something to keep in mind. Bob, reminder for comms maintainer sessions. Reminder
Yeah.
comms for maintainer sessions.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, sorry, like every maintainer that I've talked to, well, not every, but like I would say 90% of them have not realized that maintainer session CFP ends on the 16th, essentially,
Whoa.
next Sunday.
Yeah, do we need to bump that? Maybe
Yes,
or
that's the why the all caps, like, hey, should drop something in chairs and TL, should send something to the leads list.
yes.
And then there's also the whatchamacallit thing, the recording. Cass, well, Madhav, you two know what I'm talking about. The 1 minute thing.
Yeah, right.
Project update for the keynote.
Yeah.
We talked about that in our group meeting because Josh pinged in the ContribEx comms subproject about that, which we were like, oh, I guess that
makes
kind of
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
So I guess we need to
I
figure
think
that
I
out.
said in the meeting I was happy to do it. I just need help getting it together, kind of thing.
Yeah, we could use a rough idea list of like what we need to cover, just like
watch the
new
last couple of
features
years.
from the most recent updates, most recent
If-
versions, or
If we're
They're all
just
recorded.
Yeah. If it's
Yeah.
just like the 1 minute update, like, hey, our new leads, hey, it's you.
Hey.
And
hey,
some of like a big thing or two, and then like, hey, please join us here. It's one slide and I read it. It's
version
not
1 dot blah 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 is out. We have new leads. Any specific call outs that we should make for like we could use help
exactly.
just in general? Okay.
It is
that's
not
kind of the-
difficult to put together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've watched them all at every KubeCon, so I just gotta go back and watch the ContribEx ones.
There
'Cause I
hasn't
just
been a
remember it
ContribEx
being
one.
There hasn't been ever.
Not a 1 minute KubeCon update because those are new. They started last year and we did not do one for ContribEx.
Oh, okay. I'll go back and watch the other ones and see what they covered.
Probably going to be roughly
So quick thing. We should send something else out much sooner because the maintainer track sign up for China closes on the 9th.
Jesus.
And that is something that has likely really
yeah. Thank you, Nigel.
gone under the radar.
So maintainers track for China is July 9th. And then July 16th for
Essentially China this week, NA next week. This coming
Yeah,
Sunday
so
and next Sunday.
You should throw together some tweets there or posts
Yeah.
there because buffer, we can just throw it on everything at once. It's pretty great.
But
By
we
everything,
definitely
I
need
mean two
emails
things.
too.
Yeah, I would not bother with buffer because the audience for this is strictly
True.
the leads.
Maintainers.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
don't, and the link is private.
Yeah,
It-
that's a
like,
good point.
Wait,
Like-
which
We should do
link?
that.
Oh, the submit link?
Yeah, the submit link. It's been sent to the leads list.
Okay.
That is not
So
something you want to
maybe a
tweet
reminder
lightly.
in Slack. Yeah. Certainly.
Slack.
I mean, we could
email.
tweet a reminder of like
Yeah, that
maintainer
Leads,
CFP.
check your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, leads, check your thing, but
yeah, do not tweet links.
No.
of course, no links.
I think the problem is that a lot of this stuff shows up in the forums tab on Gmail, and so like I miss a lot of stuff. 'cause
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
where it
unless you
goes.
got a filter set up, kind of
Yeah.
stuff slides through.
Yeah.
And
That is part of the reason we have so many different formats is people pay attention to different things.
and this one only goes to the leads list in terms of like the actual announcement comps. Because it's the SIG leads are the ones that are proposing the talks. So unless you're a member of the leads at Kubernetes.dev or go to the groups page, you will not see those notifications.
The Kubernetes.dev or IO?
For the group,
Yeah, I'll check.
IO.
We have 10 minutes left, so we should probably move on to other things. We good with that, I think? I think we've got that down.
Beating
All
that
right,
horse.
contributor documentation. Yeah. Nothing? Okay. Bob shook his head. That means contributor documentation doesn't exist and we should never worry about it. Moderation and media, also Nigel.
So lots of automation progress. I'm gonna do a minor refactor and start rolling out to other SIGs. There are 2 that have raised their hands so far, and so perhaps this week that will start going. There was one request that came in right before the meeting started for someone needing to update video, so more demonstration of the need for this to go quickly. There was one request as well, like with the updates. Like I'd be curious to see how the Slack stuff plays out, because if we could have like a webhook for a YouTube playlist that when a video went live on the playlist, that a notification went in that SIG's channel. So that came from Arno. That would be a really useful thing to have. And so, yeah, I was like, well, first let me figure out this stuff and then we can work on the other stuff after that. But
So
yeah,
when a video goes live, it gets posted in that SIG's channel. So you have to kind of pattern match at that point.
yeah, it
Interesting.
if there might be like handles in YouTube already to say, oh, a new video is added to this playlist. And I think that's a discussion for another time. It's an idea.
Yeah,
It will happen. Potentially, we'll see. But yeah, I need to do some refactoring in the Zapier account and figure out because essentially we have two zaps. We have the zap that takes it from YouTube to Drive, which has to be done for each individual Zoom account right now until we figure out some other stuff. And then we have the other automation that pulls from one folder and takes it to YouTube. So the question right now is, do we need a separate folder for each SIG's videos, or are we just going to dump them all in one place? Because we'll save a lot of functions if we do it that way, but it'll be a lot more clear if we do it the other way.
I say we need to save on functions, right? Like optimize for the thing that costs money.
The one thing that I would agree, save on functions. The one thing is just making sure that we know which SIG owns what, like they're prefixed with the right, with the Zoom recording is prefixed with the right thing.
Yeah, there's got to be a solid matchable thing there.
For me, that's like, hey, we have this automation. If you want to use it, here is the requirement.
Yeah. And I guess okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Use Slack, nothing to report. I don't know what I should be monitoring with Slack, but yeah, nothing to report, and the YouTube videos are up to date.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Nigel. All right, let's move to GitHub management because I see an interesting update there from Bob.
This is mostly an FYI. I dropped this in the chairs and TLs and Kubernetes contributors channel. We have definitely seen an uptick in the AI spam PRs and issues. We've all seen them. If you stumble across things, please pass it to us, the GitHub admins, because GitHub wants that feedback because they are looking to build tools to help deal with this. Because if you know, we're seeing a rise now, just imagine Hacktoberfest, right? Yeah.
No t-shirts?
There are no t-shirts this year, so I think that's gonna be our saving grace,
Okay.
because like people will be participating less because there's no t-shirts this time.
That's good.
But it's still something we need to be aware of. But yeah, if you see anything, please just drop it in GitHub management or like DM a GitHub admin.
All right, sounds good. We've already talked about the steering election stuff. Bob, you had one more thing on the list.
Yep, this is
Two
a
more things?
FYI, another one, and I do recommend the ContribEx take a look at. Manav already has. Changing this goes back to the earlier discussion around changing like our org membership requirements. Well, it's not really changing, it's clarifying that you need to demonstrate you are going to be a long-time contributor. This isn't just a one and done type thing. You get a org membership badge. And the other thing is changing our inactive member policy from 18 months of zero GitHub activity to 12 months of zero GitHub activity.
Yeah, that'll do a lot of good. I feel
Again,
like
any interaction on GitHub, well, almost any interaction on GitHub works. So like it's very, very easy to meet that bar. But yeah, take a look at it. Please provide any comments. Steering will be the ones to do the final sign off.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bob.
How does
And
how does this bar compare with the one to vote?
The one to vote is you have to have 50 contributions within the past year.
Okay.
don't know if I'm gonna hit that this year.
I'm always shocked that I do.
Well, yeah. Remember that it's any interaction on GitHub, and in a single PR, it's pretty easy to hit like 10 things.
Point. Yeah. Okay. So like comments count. Yeah.
Yep. The other thing is that we do like if you are the code of conduct committee or the security response committee, you will just be opted in, and there is an exception form for those that are doing things like all our Slack admins that do not show up on GitHub.
Yeah. Cool.
So at least for election on the org cleanup side, it's mostly the GitHub admins will be paying a lot more attention to Like it'll be a lot easier once the big 600 one is done.
Very good. The last thing on the notes for today is someone asking about office hours. There's a link here. The link doesn't really work for me because I've got to like log in on my browser because it doesn't open it up in my client. Anyway, so if there's anything interesting in that, someone who the link works for, let me know. I'm not sure why this was added to the notes. Maybe just because looking for someone to respond to it. Or...
Yeah, raw code was looking to start it back up again. But
David Flanagan.
Yeah. My personal opinion is that at this point, that'd be better suited for the CNCF as a whole, because a lot of the questions that it gets are not really Kubernetes related there these days. It's a lot more higher up the stack.
Interesting.
Plus, it's like, you know, it is a we don't want to run something that is, again, pinned by like one person.
All right, and we've got 2 minutes left. So anything else, anything that we covered that you want to talk more about, or any other topics, let us know now. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I object to this wedding. Oh wait, wrong place.
The wedding of Kubernetes and community.
I had one question.
Sure.
So are there currently any open issues, because I am a new contributor over here and it can be overwhelming to just look at the whole repository at once.
So we mark issues with good first issue. So you can look around for those in all sorts of various Kubernetes repos. They get snapped up like nothing. Like they'll be up for, I used to post them every Friday and they'd all be gone within like a day. And half of them people snap up and then don't actually work on. So issues are not my recommended way to start getting involved with the community. My recommendation is to attend meetings like this.
Cool.
So that's my 2 cents. Anyone else want to chip in?
From a few, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe, I did like a really quick SIG walkthrough during the comms meeting. I need to find that video and like find the marker and get that out to you.
And Bob just posted some great links in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Those are Kubernetes wide, not ContribEx only, but I don't know of any ContribEx issues that are open right now that are good
first ones. Yeah.
Good first ones.
We always have SIG spotlights in the contributor comms team. So if communications and writing blog posts is something that's interesting to you, we always have projects that you can do.
Thanks. Thank you.
I mean, there's always smaller subprojects of ContribEx like maintainers, some Nathan, the Prow, the way we comment on GitHub and Prow takes it up. Like, there's always ways to improve that. It's just that there aren't people to pick it up, and also it's also not documented anywhere as to what is needed. So I think one thing you can do after this meeting is just go again on the ContribEx channel and just like put up what you're interested in working on. Maybe go through the charter of ContribEx once and see like what ContribEx itself works on, and then pick a few of those from there and put them on the channel and then get.
Cool works. Thanks.
And with that, I really need to get to my next meeting. So I think we'll call it. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. If you need us, you can find us all on Slack.